Hi, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. I love, love, love this junk journal here. This is a book from it was hard to date. It didn't have a date in it. So through my research, I believe it was from the late 1800s or the very early 1900s. And this is a large one. This one is 9 3/4 by 6.5. That's a big junk journal. So what I did is I added this antique handle here, which is Bakelite, and I believe it's Art Deco. It's very cool. It's significant. We've got the leather binding here. This one is called The History of Egypt by Miss Perro, and it is just stunning with the marbling and the gold. It's very worn. The corners are worn, and I did not cover them because I wanted to stay true to the cover on this. If somebody who purchases this would like me to cover the corners, I can do that. Just let me know in my Etsy shop, where everything is free shipping in North America, including this big monster. Look at the inside of this gorgeous book. This is in such good condition, these marbled pages here, because they weren't exposed to light like the cover was. Just stunning, very thick. This book was gifted in the 60s to the Toronto Public Library system. It says up here, gift. So I've got the original first plate in here under its onion paper. If I can lift it very, very carefully. There we go. Isn't that a beautiful plate? Look at that. The great template fly. And I just put some ribbon there to protect the seam. And over here, I've got this wonderful antique postcard from 1939, and that is just a stunning, colorful, glossy. Would have been quite expensive to get that one. And this is a 1887 note here on a newspaper article, or just on a political event. 1930s children's book page. Look at these lovely illustrations. And I love this antique book page, Impressions and Memories. How much better can you do than that for a junk journal? And this is a wonderful plate from an antique book, early 1900s, Queen Elizabeth in her coronation roll. And there is the original first page of the book here, which when I received this book, this was already separated, but whoever had the book was nice enough to keep it in there. And again, I just love all the stamping on it, everything. It's just fantastic. So I have lots of fun with that, and that's all mounted on top of this wonderful nature studies book here from the 1930s. Look at the little children here eating fruit. That's adorable. This is a map from the 1920s, and this is Eastern Europe. Got a 1950s receipt in here, some antique Monopoly money. I love this piece down here that has the emblem here from, I believe, a university library. An owl, fox, nature studies. Look at this from 1899. And this would have been a Japanese souvenir stereoscope card. So it would have been like the first 3D kind of card. But look at the colors on there. It's beautiful. A little history on the back. Great souvenir if you were traveling. And you would have brought those back to family who would have had the stereoscope as well to look at those wonderful images. This came from a 1950s music teen magazine. And this is wonderful here. It's got all the words to the songs of the day. Some of us will recognize, and some really fun ads there. And this is just the interior of an antique book that I thought was great for journaling on. Pockets made out of a 1950s postage stamp collector's page. And another one of these hankies I have that was never purchased, so never used, but brand new and old at the same time. And I made it a little page pocket here for that, on top of another antique page. Some fun children's book ephemera there. And look at this. This is the original back page of this book. And this would have been the library card from the 60s and 70s. Look at that. I've actually not seen one quite like that. It's very cool. This was the Dewey Decimal card, and that was another temporary card. I love all three of those. So somebody can have an awful lot of fun with those. Just really cool. A botanicals page here, vintage. And I got this antique card that fell out of a book, in a book that I had got at an antique store. It just fell out as I was cleaning it up. Lovely little girl out on the ice. I love that. And then this here is an antique book page that you can do. There's lots of blank spots there to journal on. Journal here as well on that antique book page. And here's another one of my waterfall journaling spots here that I turned also into a pocket. And here is a plate from the early pre-1905. Isn't that lovely? And that is, I believe, a Scottish Highland. There's a fun vintage recipe book page, vintage school book page here. And then this is another one of these fabulous. This one is from 1942 during the war. So the advertisements were all geared to the war. And this little Band-Aid. So fun. Really cool articles and a wonderful piece of history there as well. And then there's a nice little journaling spot here from an antique book page. And a fantastic plate from the 1890s, Sunday Reading for the Young. And, oh, this is cursive practice, and this is from the 1930s, 1937 to be exact. I even wrote the date down here. And up here, look at that. Just, I love it, especially since cursive writing is apparently a thing of the past now, which makes me feel very old. And another nice little picture from a history book there. And this is a wonderful little pocket I made out of a children's book page. But look at this wonderful piece, When Pussy Willow Comes. It's just the loveliest little poem. But look at the pussy willows are actually little kitty cats. Isn't that great? So a really cool piece there. And I put some paper on the back to journal on. As much journaling space as I can give you and to make it interesting at the same time. Everything in here is real antique paper. There's no digital copies or commercial pieces, printouts, nothing. It's all real. And look at this wonderful piece here, For a Smile. And that is from the 1920s. The House of Happiness, journal on there. I'm really pleased with this journal. I really, really am. There's a white poppy, gorgeous. This is a really cool page here made out of a needlepoint table runner. And in the back here, I put a 1920s paper article. This is from a scrapbook from a student who did their project on caves. And that's pretty cool. And then just some vintage upholstery fabric there. And a children's book page from the 20s. And one of these ladies' letter writing pieces, which is really fun. A fun read. A unused recipe card from the 50s here, and this one's 1988, so not super old, but that is from the Beacon Lodge, about 40 years old there, almost vintage. And oh gosh, so many more letter writing things here. These are fun. A doily booklet page from the 1950s. This is a super old page that was from the 1800s. Look at that beautiful chocolate brown there. And more antique paper on the inside, an antique music sheet. Look at his little bear, his tail fell off. That's from a children's book from the 30s. And this plate here, gorgeous, is from the early 1900s, and that's the Grand Canyon. And I don't see many of these. That's really lovely. Flip side of that, and that brings us to the end. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. It's hyperstamper.etsy.com, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye for now.